Just a couple general comments. One, I met with Ed this morning, and the first thing I did was apologize to him because I have so much distaste for what happened last week. Ed has done nothing but carry himself as a consummate gentleman with high character and high integrity. And for somebody in our department to speak to someone in the media when they had no authorization to speak about a decision that hadn't been made, about a conversation that I had not had with a coach, made me sick to my stomach. Ed, his family, the guys on that team, this institution, everyone deserves better. And I have a problem to fix. So I started this morning by apologizing to him because he's done so well by us. He's given us everything. And I told him I'm not sure that institutionally or departmentally we've done everything for men's basketball that we need to do to compete at the level that we want to compete. We made the move to the American Conference. We didn't increase the resources allocated to the program. If you want to beat Memphis and you want to beat Houston, you want to beat Cincinnati and Connecticut on a regular basis, we have to travel the way they do. We have to resource our programs the way they do. We have to fund from a salary standpoint the way they do. And those things, I would tell you, Ed didn't have all the tools in his belt. And so when a program makes a transition or a change, I think that so often we point and say the coach needed to do this better or that better. I would tell you a lot of things needed to be done better. And a lot of things have to be done better to get this program into where we want it to get.
Given what you said then, why did you decide to make a change?
After 6 years, we can invest in the program in a lot of ways. It's going to take a little bit of time. There's a chicken and egg argument. We need the fans to support us for the program to elevate, to provide the resources. But the fans aren't going to support us until the program elevates. And so instead of chicken or the egg, the chicken and the egg have to go down the road at the same time. We have to create a renewed enthusiasm and excitement for men's basketball at Tulane in the community, among our alums, and all of our constituencies. And so to do that, to make a change, and then provide the armor necessary in the tool belt for the next coach to compete at the level that we want to compete. And so, as I explained to Ed, that happens all the time, and it seems incredibly unfair that the next person is going to have more resources to work with than the previous person. But it is no different than Willie. When Willie came in, we have provided some things to Willie that I don't know the program had before, because those are the things that it takes to win in the league that we're in right now.
You've now had to replace the two coaches in your two major sports. What kind of message do you think this sends to the fan base, which obviously they're watching everything that's being done to this program right away?
Well, one, there's an institutional commitment to success. There's an expectation that we succeed. This institution prides itself on being one of the top 40 academic institutions in the country. It should expect no less out of its athletic department, no less out of its law school, no less out of its med school. And so in order to do that, one, it's an investment in people, it's an investment in resources, in all resources, in time, talent, energy, effort, all those things. But the commitment, when I was hired, I saw the commitment at an institutional level, at all levels, to support championship level programs. And so for hopefully what the community recognizes is that we're going to do what we need to do, everything that's within our power to put our teams, our men and our women in a position to compete for championships, and then ultimately to have the competitive successes that we all want.
Are you searching for the leaker, and what happens if you identify that person?
Well, I don't have all the answers internally yet, but it is a very high priority for me, because going forward, for this department to run in the way that a quality championship level department has to run, people have to respect each other enough not to talk about their individual job futures with people when they're not authorized to talk about those things. And so it's a problem I have to fix. How I'll fix it, I'll know when I find the source.
You talk about rejuvenating the program. Did you just didn't feel like that was possible with Ed?
Well, there aren't many people at our games, and that is an important message that's being sent to us. And I'd heard it since I got here from people that had been invested in basketball that frankly had given up Not because of Ed or not because of anything else, just because of their perception of where we're at with their basketball program. So right now we need to show that there's a renewed commitment, a redoubling of the commitment, if you will, to men's basketball, just as there has been shown to football.
Even given the resources he had, did you feel like the team should have done better than 3-15 in conference this year? Is it hard to justify retaining somebody based on future potential when you're 3-2?
Well, I will say this, a decision can never be made on one game, win or lose, and it really cannot be made on one season because there are so many other variables that go along with any one season or one moment in time. But after an extended period of time, and I said this earlier, if you're not at the top half of the league, you need to examine why you're not. And you need to make sure you get the things in place in order to compete at that level and higher. And I just thought it was time in some ways to make a fresh start throughout the program. With leadership in the program and with the other resources that I know we need to put into the program.
You guys work on a timetable right now?
You know, there are a lot of jobs out there and a lot of dominoes that still haven't fallen yet. I'm sure there are people that we're going to be talking to that are coaching in the tournament and maybe coaching for a number of games, whether they're head coaches or assistant coaches. So, you know, as I told the guys this morning, I would love to have someone for them before the Final Four. But this is unlike the football search where we get together and interview 6 people over the course of 2 days and choose one. This is going to be an ongoing process, and when we find that person, we'll be ready to offer that person, whether that be tomorrow or whether that be in 2 weeks.
You said in football that you had Willie in mind from the start. Do you have a guy or two in the back of your head that would be great if you could get him?
You always have your list. You always have your list because you never know whether it's through your decision or someone else's decision that there's a vacancy. And so I've got a list, and I've been, the nice thing as opposed to football, I understand some of our liabilities. I've had a good chance to look at the league and understand what we're up against, who we're up against in the league, and from a resource standpoint, and what we need from a talent, what we need from an experience to compete in this league.
In the past, coaches have used Tulane, whether it be basketball or football, as kind of a stepping stone to a better job in their mind. When it goes to looking for this coach here, how can you avoid that, or do you even
Don't
worry
avoid
about
it.
that?
Don't avoid it. Encourage it. Because I will tell you, if someone uses our job to step to the next place, that means we will have done something that we're not doing. And that's, you know, at that point in time, then it's on me, hopefully, to have made this job attractive enough and invested enough in salary that this job isn't a lesser job than that person's striving to do. And that was, I think, the experience we had at Northern Iowa when we retained coaches who seemingly would be aspiring to another job. We made the environment conducive to success, because if you ask any coach, they want the opportunity to win. As long as we provide the opportunity to be successful, be rather pragmatic about how we approach the program. And I'm not a micromanager from a standpoint of I'm going to let them coach. I'm going to try to clear a path for them. As long as we do those things, hopefully they'll stay when they have success. But right now, we've got to get to the point where we have success.
Can you pay top of the league money, Troy?
There are 4 coaches in the league that are making $2.5 million or more, so no. But we're going to pay at a level that is competitive to the point that I can get the type of coach here that I know we need to get.
What are the 2 and 3 imbalances you can fix kind of immediately in this search? You mentioned a couple of them that Ed was sort of fighting through. Are there ones you think you can fix kind of going into next season?
Well, I need to put resources behind travel. You know, and you say what you want, but on the recruiting process, or just use the example of we fly to Dallas for a basketball game, and when you commercial back, that means the next morning the guys are getting up at 6 o'clock in the morning, maybe getting back on campus at 9. They've missed 2 classes. The other schools in our league aren't missing classes a day after a game, and they're not wearing their bodies down by those early mornings. Those are the things, when you look at what do your peers do, we have to find a way to travel in a way that's more consistent with our peers. I've said this before. I think our arena is an asset. It'll be an asset in the search, because we can have a greater home court advantage than anybody else in our league because of the environment. I've seen videos of when things were hopping, what this place can be, and that's my goal, to get back to that place, and we just make it a terrible environment for somebody to want to come in and play.
Do you feel like you're on the same plane for attracting a coach in basketball that you were in football, or better or worse? Where do you see it?
I would say this: that basketball practice facility we have is not going to be matched by many places in the country. So a tremendous asset there. The fact that we're in the American, don't underestimate the value of that. And one, in the football search, it was certainly prominent. But two, in this search, this is as important as football is, the American is made out of institutions that are historically basketball institutions. And basketball has been really, really important to those institutions. Now, you look around the league, for someone who wants to coach, you got Larry Brown, you got Kelvin Sampson, Kevin Ali, Mick Cronin. You've got a world of just high-end coaches. So it's a pretty elite group. It is at a level. We got 4 teams in the tournament. People know they can come in. You can finish 4th place in our league, 5th place in our league, and still get into the NCAA tournament, which for most conferences below our level, if you don't get that auto bid, you're in. So that makes this an attractive job for yet another reason.
Anybody on the current staff will be retained at all?
I just met with the staff and I told them, if you're interested, if you're interested in the head job, here's what I want you to do. But really the next head coach will pick his staff, and I will have zero to say about it. I'll offer input if he's interested. Anybody in the staff, I'll offer input. We have really good people on the staff, but the next head coach will get to make that decision.
Do you know what you're looking for in the next head coach, in terms of on-court or anything like that?
It's going to sound a broken record like I talked when we had the football search, but I want somebody who's a winner. I want somebody who can adapt to the kids rather than force the kids a square peg to fit into a round hole, if you will. I want somebody that can work with whatever we have at whatever point in time that we have it. We need a little bit of a salesman. We need somebody with some personality, because part of the job for me and the new coach is to sell this program back to our alums, sell it back to the community, that it can be what people remember it being, and frankly, it can be quite a little bit more than even what we remember it being.
You regret giving Ben Jacobson that contract?
Well, I know this, and Ben Jacobson's not going to be the next coach here. That is absolutely certain, because I did negotiate that contract, and I know what the buyout is, so Ben's not going to be here. But Ben's a great coach, and Ben's a great profile for the type of an individual, because he treats kids right. And when I met with the team today, I asked him, "What do you want?" And we got the right answers. They want somebody with discipline. They want somebody that's going to care about them, somebody that's going to make them improve, somebody that frankly they want to run through a wall for, not in spite of. And those are the characteristics, I think, when you look at a coach. X's and O's, there might be a micro difference in X's and O's from one coach to the next, but it's ability to motivate, to encourage and enthuse and invigorate that I'm trying to find with this next coach.
So again, you hope to have somebody in place by Final Four, you said?
Oh, in a perfect world by Final Four. What you don't know is there are a number of other jobs out there. Some of the candidates that I'm going to want to talk to are going to be sought after by those jobs, certainly. And we'll see how the dominoes fall. And when one when one position fills, another one may vacate. So it's hard to put a timeline on it. The urgency that we had in football does not exist with this search because of the recruiting period that's not right in front of us. So we're going to make sure we take our time and have the right person.
You don't have to have a head coach on another staff to take this job.
No.
It's a good assistant. Okay.
No. I would tell you it's going to be a very, very wide net.
Thanks, Troy.
Yeah.
Appreciate it.
Thanks,
Troy.